This week in comic books, over in Batman 108, Molly Miracle shows us why she's so special. Special. Over in Marvel, we get knockoff Justice League, and I'm like, why is Marvel having to knock something? Oh, X-Men. That's why you gotta knock something off. Because X-Men. And in Indies, we get a good Asian cop story that's noir at the same time, and it's actually pretty interesting. All that and a lot more comic books. I swear, I'll talk good about the other ones. Let's roll the intro. Hey, what's going on, you wonderful weirdos? Pocan Joe here, and as always, thank you for coming by, you super cool cat. If you don't know who I am, basically I read a bunch of comic books every week, and then I sit here and I gripe and compliment and just say horrible things and great things about them, and hopefully you enjoy it enough. And if you do, please hit the like button or down button, but whatever your thing is. But more importantly, what did you read this week? And more importantly than that, what did you think of it? Let this be your sounding board. So let's jump right into it with DC this week. We're going to talk about Swamp Thing. Now, I am digging me some Swamp Thing. See, I told you I'd say good things about comic books. I like this. We got Poison Ivy. Well, our character, our new Swamp Thing, has to go into the land of the green, right? They always talk about the green. The green. Okay, well, he's there now. And his kind of off on again girlfriend, close friend, I'm not really sure. They don't really define the relationship very well. She's there too, and he's got to find her. Apparently Poison Ivy wants to help, and there's Woodroo's in it. I love Woodroo as a character because it's exact opposite of Swamp Thing. So he's there, and apparently he's trying to help her because he runs into her first. And then we get Dr. Holland himself, the first Swamp Thing, all wrapped up into this book. I like this because they're definitely, this Ram V cat came out of nowhere, and this guy's just killing it in stories, and it constructually makes sense. Any tip of the hat to the old school stuff that came along too, just to say, yeah, for you older guys out there, I know you like this character. I'm going to take care of you. This cat is delivering on everything, and this is good. With it being only on issue 3 and it being only 10 issues, I would probably, I try not to recommend books, but I would probably be picking this up because it's smart and it's fun, and that's what a comic book should be. Moving on, Suicide Squad. So this was great this week too. Now, normally when it comes to a Suicide Squad story, I'm on it for a little bit, and then I'm like, oh, no, I want to get something else, right? But this is interesting. One, because I don't really know a whole lot about this Red X character. And I missed the last issue of Teen Titan Academy. They ran out by the time I got there, so I wasn't able to pick one up. So I don't know much about Red X as a character overall, even from the past, right? I just don't know who this character is. But apparently he's going to be entangled into the Suicide Squad as well. So for some reason, Amanda Waller wants Bolt. I don't know, maybe she's just lonely and wants a kid. I don't know. Bolt's in the Teen Tower Academy thing, doing her thing. Her and her friends go out. Suicide Squad. Basically, it's a kidnapping story. It's a heist kidnapping. Remember, Suicide Squad's bad guys, for the most part. So they try to it fails. This thing just epically fails. Plan A, Plan B, everything just goes to crap. So Plan C comes along, and it's basically break into the tower and kidnap her there. Because that will work. But who's going to give him a hand? The Red X shows up and is like, don't worry, I got you covered. I'm going to help you out. He doesn't actually say it. It's close enough. I like this because it's a bunch of bad guys that are being led by a narcissist. And then we have the Phantom character, if you will, kind of show up and is like, I'm going to teach. There's going to be an issue here, right? Peacemaker and Red X are going to get into it. And I kind of want to see that happen. That would be awesome. Okay, moving on. Green Lantern. Alright, so we've completely redefined the roles of the Green Lantern Corps. As we understand them today, they are completely different now, right? 1,001 of them have basically been changed into Star Trek, right? They're going to boldly go. They had to make a spaceship with their rings, and they're going to boldly go where no other Green Lantern has gone before, for exploration and whatever they used to say at the beginning of Star Trek. Nobody cares. It was a Star Wars guy anyway. Right? So that happens in here. They're gonna and Hal Jordan, right? And he's like, I'm gonna lead this mission. Superhero, right? He's gonna go do their thing. In the meantime, the big green lantern that charges everybody else's rings explodes. And there's a villain in the wings. It's like, muhaha, doing his thing, right? Blows everything up. Who survives? Our little girl, I want to say her name is Cruz. That could be wrong. But anyways, the little girl that has green lantern powers, but not a ring. Apparently it's in a backpack. And then we got this lady. She comes swinging in. I vaguely remember this. I was on like 2 issues of this before I dropped it. So I don't really know that much about her. She does look like that singer. Who's that singer that had the hair thing? Like, it's less than 5 years ago. She was like singing a song because she's a singer. Go figure. Anyway, she was super hot, right? So she comes swinging in with her weird jacked up glasses and like runs into the girl. Apparently the girl survived the explosion. Not a lot else did, by the way. So she's there. So I think this is good because we got a young girl and we got superhero lady, right? Mentorship, growth, guidance. Let it happen. Yeah, definitely. Let's get some more of that. But I am kind of curious how Green Lanterns are going to turn into, you know, Captain Kilowog, fifth power dimension, warp activators activate, or whatever it is they say. I don't know. All right, Crime Syndicate. First off, that cover, meow. This is good too. I don't know what it is with these villain stories lately. I've really been enjoying them. So, best way to describe this and what's going on is Starro, right? It's that whole Starro story, like in Justice League, only handled differently, where the ends justify the means. Meaning, however, there are bad guys in this who are just mimics of superheroes. However they take care of it, it's not going to care about the group of people. It's just, whatever it takes to get it done. And Bubba, do they do it. And you're in a good story when Lex Luthor is the utilitarian guys trying to save everybody and like just panicking the entire time. So what we find out that in their universe, they didn't know that there were a lot of other people that had superpowers. We got some insight to that. Also, we found out that the Superwoman in this, who's basically Wonder Woman, but she calls herself Superwoman. She's even Diana Troy from the Mascara. We got her origin story in it, and Bubba, it went a very different direction than Wonder Woman with the whole Trevor thing. Very, very different. But I like it. It's good villainy. It's not even really villainy. I just call it villainy. It's just another way of looking at something. But it's all done for the wrong purposes. It's all for their own glorification, or because they think that they should be held on a pedestal, and every now and then they have to do something. It's intriguing, and it's fun to play with. All right, Batman 108. So, first full appearance, I guess we're going to say. I'm not even sure how cameos and first appearances work anymore. Because if you look up the word cameo, it's when you take something outside of its environment and put it into another. So, like if you took Superman and stuck him in eternity, he would be making a cameo there. In Future State, we were first introduced to Miracle Molly, and she was in several panels, but apparently those were just cameos. This is her first full. I don't know how it works anymore. I'm not trying to figure it out. It's complicated. Anyway, she's basically an economic social justice warrior with really big brains, and she's super smart, and she can make like robotic limbs, and like she saw through Batman's disguise when he was dressed up like Mitch, and she's like, oh, fake mustache, blah blah blah. She's super smart, right? Okay, great, cool. Do something cool. She did. She just laid out exactly, instead of doing like a villainy monologue type of thing, she's like, yeah, I'll show you how we do everything. This is how we do everything. Ta-da, ta-da. This is what we do. This is what we hack. Like, just gave up the ghost on it. Everything. I liked it because it shows that no matter what the hero does, you can't change the progression of what's happening. I like that. Or at least that's generally, when you use that in writing, that's genuinely the intent. Like, you're not going to stop it. Some other good things that happen here, we find out who Peacemaker 01 is, and it's Shane Mahoney, right? Now, I always thought the Mahoney name was like attached to the gangsters, right? But apparently his dad and his grandfather were all cops or something. took a bribe, Gordon caught him, whatever the case is, doesn't really matter that much. What does matter about this is still good in this whole insanity thing. Now, I don't think anybody else has said this, so let me be the first. Miracle Molly is, are you ready? Simon Saint's daughter. It just makes sense to me. I don't know why. The tech connection, the look when she was watching herself on video, getting the brainwashing thing done. I'm like, I think that's the case. I really do. And it's probably his motivation to get the Peacekeepers up and running. I hope I didn't spoil that for you. Actually, I hope I'm wrong now. I just don't want to go back and edit this. All right, time loop story. Oh, I hate time loop stories. They're so annoying because the most vaguest messages end up having the most meaning, like coordinates. Like, who just knows coordinates off the top of their head? Like, I can point to north, east, south, and west, right? I can tell you where those directions are. What I can't tell you is 39 degrees by 47, and of course this is all written all over Batman because he's stuck in this time loop where his memory gets wiped. Also, another thing, and I'm nitpicking, right? I'm nitpicking. Emotions don't carry over. You need emotions, right, are always attached to memories. That's how they work in the brain. That they're connected. You may not always understand the feelings that you're having, but they're always a source to some sort of memory. Not in DC and not in Fortnite, right? Because you're just randomly connected to Catwoman. If you don't know, basically, they just do the same thing over and over again, trying to figure out how the game Fortnite works. And that's my assumption. I don't play the game. The code's in it. My nephew's got them. Good luck with your Batman thing, buddy. All right. Jumping into Marvel. Heroes Reborn. So knock off Justice League, right? I don't know why Marvel feels they need to knock off a Justice League thing. Now, you're probably like, well, just because they're similar, that doesn't mean that, that they're actually knockoffs. It is when that's clearly Batman. That's clearly Batman. He's even got a jet. Okay, so, Marvel did it. So why did they do it? Well, if you've been reading X-Men lately, you know they need another team to step things up. Because this was actually okay. Although they did the tropey thing where they kind of mixed their characters again, like they did in Infinity War. Only this time they did it with bad guys. So in this you get a Doctor Doom Juggernaut mashup, right? You get what is Venom? What would he be like if he was, Hydra, right? Just these crazy mashups of just these random characters. Also, what. Thanos with rings instead of gauntlets doesn't make a difference. See, I thought they were trying to reference the 10 rings of the Mandarin in it, right? But it's only 5. But I guess you could get away with that because you're mixed. I'm not sure how that worked. But regardless, overall, this is okay. It's fun, stupid reading. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to be a spec book, I don't think, on anybody's list unless it just rises in popularity. But it is fun. It is intriguing to see why Marvel can kind of, poke fun at DC, I guess is the best way to put it. I'm not sure why this book exists, but it's fun to see the characters. The story's lame, but the characters are cool. All right, War of the Bounty Hunters. This is good. Oh, you ever wondered, especially when you see sequels, right? What happened in the time in between sequels, right? So this takes care of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, right? Han Solo's captured. Well, yeah, Darth Vader was like, here, Boba Fett. With Boba Fett didn't really do much. And he's like, here you go, buddy. Here's Han Solo. Thanks for help. So he rolls out. And he's got them all in his little carbonite coffin-looking thing. Problems happen. He's got to land. And guess what? They're doing the tropey thing from Mandalorian where I can't pay you now. Is there something else I can do? Yeah, you can go do this mission over here. So we got all these little side missions that are going to end up happening. Come to find out, the whole thing gets stolen. Han Solo body gone. You shoot out in space. Now the bounty hunters got to do what bounty hunters do. You got to go collect their bounty. So everything's going to be prefaced off that mainline story. And there's going to be plenty of little, well, if you can't pay, you got to go kill this guy. That kind of thing going on in here. All in all, it's still fun to read. It's okay. Strange Academy. All right, so I wonder when this was going to start happening. So now we're in the hookup phase of the comic book, right? What happens when you put a bunch of kids in a co-ed environment for a long period of time? They start dating each other. Don't believe me? What, you never been to a summer camp before? Like that happens, right? Okay. But the weird thing about this is one off this little fairy girl. She's so excited about having Toth, the non-speaking swamp monster thing, as a boyfriend, and Emily and Doyle hook up in this. But that's not really what the interesting part of this is. The most interesting part of this book is the fact that this little jerk who kept beating up on Doyle because his dad's, a villain. Come find out, well, his mother's a villain. It's the Enchantress, and she's like locked away in the tree of whatever we want to call it, of Asgard, tree of life, or the main tree. It's ridiculous. So yeah, this is an in-between issue. I don't have any major adventures right now. Let's make the kids hook up. And Bubba, when I say these kids are hooking up, it was almost uncomfortable watching how hard that little pumpkin-headed dude is kissing her. Is that his tongue coming out of her cheek right there? Like, that is... It's like, I've never kissed a girl before. Also, I thought these kids were, like, in middle school. Is that, like, a big deal? It's like, it's a little hot. Like, I'm not a prude or anything, but I'm not trying to watch kids make out either, right? There's got to be some balance here. Help me out. But all in all, it's just a fun, whimsical story. It's a great break when you got to read stuff that you don't like, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Stuff that I kind of liked, this came up a little bit. Like, I've been talking some hard garbage about Immortal Hulk here lately, and how the story, you fell into your own philosophy just a little too much. You were trying to explain that instead of just telling a story. And now we're kind of getting back to story with Grey Hulk coming back out, and we're going to do what Hulks do. We're going to smash things and break things and be sarcastic and let everybody know that we're bad. Like, that's the whole point of it. So he beats the UFOs in this. The UFOs trying to kill him. Well, they did kill a portion of him. It's always hard to review Immortal Hulk because you don't never know which Hulk you're talking about. We're talking about Grey Hulk in this one, Mr. Fix-It. So yeah, he got his powers back. Next thing you know, Hulk's at a bar having a beer, trying to settle everybody down so he can have beer. Gets into a little kerfuffle, if you will. Kerfuffle. There's a word we don't use enough anymore. Goes outside. Who's outside? The Avengers. And they're like, yo, bro, you need to chill. It's like 7 against 1. And then all of a sudden, his chicken head girlfriend, Betty Ross, and I know somebody's like, chicken head. No, she's literally a chicken head. That's a chicken head. Right? She's all like, make that tear against 7. That's what she sounds like in this book to me. I don't even know why. It's just a giant bird. It's ridiculous. For the most part. And of course, that great homage scene that we all love. Whenever Hulk and Thor kind of battle a little bit, we get some more of that because you watched the movie. And now, see what we did there? Can't be cheesy, but it's not as heavy as it's been with the split personality and the mindscape, and then, is this hell? Is this the gray, red doors? Like, it's just, they simplistic a story down a little bit, just so comic book people can be like, oh, look, the Hulk actually fought somebody. Yay, thank you. Alright. So this ended exactly the way you thought it would. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 65. Hey, remember the two dads that don't like each other? But they have to work together to save their kids in love. Wah, wah, wah. Well, they did. Not only them, but Spider-Man jumped on board in his lame-ass suit that I don't know why it's annoying me, but it does. And then, the girls, Girl Squad team, Slay, they all show up. And a battle emerges with these random villains that nobody ever took seriously. The characters in the book didn't even take them seriously, so it's not just me talking garbage. And, they won. Oh, and Kindred said something. You remember Kindred? They built that up forever. He used some words. Norman Oswald's got a plan. I want to do away with that book. All right, The Good Asian. So this is a great noir story, and I'll be honest with you. maybe this will make some people mad. I don't care what race you are. A good detective story that is noir in nature, with good mystery behind it, and very eclectic time frame, like the 1930s, 1940-ish, right? That's a great time era for detective stories. You see what I did there? So, and this is great, and they got some things in here that that happened, that they happened in the past. Sometimes people just weren't always as nice to other people, right? I think that's fair, and they brought it up in here. But I don't think it was look, you guys did this to our people. I don't think it was that. I think it was more of a reference point, so you kind of understood what was happening around these communities when certain police officers had to come in there. And I'm not saying this stuff happened or didn't happen, right? Well, yeah, I'll say it. It happened in some places. It didn't happen in others. I think that's fair. But for the most part, if you just... I know a lot of people, they read titles like this and they immediately get turned off. And they're like, I don't want to get beat up on, or I don't want to hear this nonsense. This is not that. This is a legitimately good new war story. You got murder, you got hot dames in it. Dames. I guess that's how you say it. Right? You get a rich family involvement. New war stories always need a rich family involved, right? Because you always know that they had something to do with the crime. So good stuff going on in here. I would definitely pick it up if you haven't already. Just get it, read it, and let me know what you thought of it. I promise you, if you like detective stories, and I'm not talking like detective comics like Batman, but general detective stories, I think you would like that. All right, guys, don't forget, over at Blast It or Stash It, we're running our Would You Rather contest. I'll link the description down below. Basically, 7 questions and a quick video on whatever platform it is that you do it on. Facebook, BitChute, Odyssey, whatever. Just let us know that you put a video up so we can watch it, so we can get you entered into this contest. What does the winner get from all of us? Myself, Spectacular Spider Grandpa, and Huey. We're going to give you a box of stuff. That doesn't sound as exciting. It's going to be good stuff. Good quality stuff, because we appreciate all of you and we love you, and we want to do something fun for the community and something that all of you can do together, especially wonderful comic book weirdos out there. So definitely, I'll link the description down below so you can find out the questions, make yourself a video, bring the funny, have a good time with it. All right, guys, as normal, I don't have anything else. I think I've been on here long enough. You guys take it easy. Bye.